Listen, I'm going to tell you something that will probably piss off half the internet, but someone needs to say it. You know what I see when I look around. Men, successful men, good-looking men, intelligent men, sitting alone for years, not months, years. And before you start typing your angry comment, let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw a genuinely happy couple under 35? I mean genuinely happy, not Instagram happy. Take your time. I'll wait. You can't remember, can you? And there's a reason for that. We've created a world where being alone has become the rational choice for most men. Not the desired choice, the rational one. It's like choosing to walk instead of getting into a car that has a 70% chance of crashing. You understand what I'm saying? The math just doesn't work anymore. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're at a casino, and there's this special table. To sit down, you need to bet your entire life savings, your emotional stability, half your future earnings, and your mental health. The dealer tells you that, historically, 70% of players lose everything. The 30% who win, half of them say the prize wasn't worth it. Would you sit at that table? Of course not, but that's exactly what modern relationships have become for men. And then we wonder why they're choosing to stay home. I had this conversation with my cousin last week. He's 34, makes good money, works out, dresses well, the whole package. He tells me I haven't been on a date in 3 years. 3 years. I ask him why. You know what he says? Every time I open those dating apps, I feel like I'm applying for a job I'm not qualified for. CEO position requires minimum height 6'2" in, salary in the top 5%, must own property in 3 countries, speak 4 languages, have the humor of a comedian, the body of an athlete, and the emotional availability of a therapist. Previous experience as a mind reader preferred. And here's the thing that nobody wants to admit. Women have priced themselves out of the market. It's like watching someone list their 1995 Honda Civic for the price of a Ferrari, because they installed new seat covers. You see, yes, they've confused their value with their demands, and when nobody's buying, instead of adjusting the price, they blame the customers for being cheap. I remember being 22, meeting this girl at a coffee shop. She worked retail, lived with 3 roommates, had maybe $200 in her bank account, but her dating requirements. The man needed his own house, a luxury car, regular vacations abroad, and enough free time to entertain her constantly. I asked her, "What do you bring to match all that?" She looked at me like I asked her to solve quantum physics. "I'm the prize," she said. The prize for what? Participating. And this wasn't some isolated incident. This is the mentality I see everywhere now. Women who can't cook demanding personal chefs. Women who don't exercise demanding athletes. Women with massive debt demanding millionaires. The delusion is so widespread, it's become normalized. You know what happens when you set up a game where only one side can win? People stop playing. It's that simple. Men aren't stupid. We can do cost-benefit analysis. We see our friends getting divorced, losing their kids, paying alimony to women who despise them. We see good men being mocked online for not being good enough. We see the videos, you know which ones, where women laugh about using men for free dinners, calling it foodie calls. They have WhatsApp groups where they share strategies on how to extract maximum resources with minimum investment. And then these same women wonder where all the good men went. They went home. They're playing video games, working on their careers, hanging with their boys. At least there, effort equals reward. But let me tell you the real poison in all of this. It's not just the unrealistic standards. It's the complete devaluation of what men actually offer. A man today can work 60 hours a week, pay all the bills, fix everything that breaks, be emotionally supportive, remember every anniversary, plan romantic dates. And what does he hear? That's the bare minimum. The bare minimum. My grandfather supported a family of 5 on one salary, and my grandmother treated him like a king for it. She would iron his shirts with pride, cook his favorite meals, respect his decisions. Now, you need to be a millionaire to get a thank you. And even then, it comes with conditions. Here's an exercise I want you to try. Open any social media platform and search for "men are trash." Count the posts. Millions. Now, search for "women are trash." See the difference? One is celebrated with likes and shares and Yas Queen comments. The other is banned, deleted, called misogyny. We've normalized the complete disrespect of an entire gender, and then act surprised when that gender opts out of participating. It's like spitting in someone's face daily, and then wondering why they don't want to have lunch with you. I coached this guy recently, 28 years old, software developer, good kid, shy, but genuine, makes $80,000 a year, which is solid money for his age. He tells me about his last date. He picked her up, paid for dinner at a nice restaurant she chose, tried to have a conversation. She spent the entire time on her phone posting stories about the food, tagging the restaurant, never once tagging him or even acknowledging he existed in her posts. Like he was just the Uber driver who happened to pay. At the end, she says, "This was boring," and leaves. Doesn't even say thank you. He spent $150 to be someone's content creation assistant. You understand why men are giving up. But wait, it gets better. The same girl posts on her Instagram the next day about how men don't know how to date anymore. And where have all the romantic men gone? The cognitive dissonance is extraordinary. She turned a date into a social media photo shoot, contributed nothing to the conversation, showed zero interest, and then blamed him for it being boring. This is what we're dealing with. The housing thing. Let me address that, because it's crucial. You know what's insane? A woman living in a shared apartment with 5 people, sleeping on a mattress on the floor, eating instant noodles for dinner, will reject a man because he doesn't own property. It's like someone who can't swim demanding to date only Olympic swimmers. The delusion is astronomical. In major cities, maybe 5% of men under 35 own property. So 95% of men are automatically disqualified. And then women complain about not finding anyone. The math doesn't math, as they say. I knew this girl. Let's call her Anna. For 5 years, she rejected every man who approached her. Not tall enough, not rich enough, not exciting enough. She had a spreadsheet. I'm not joking. A literal Excel spreadsheet with requirements. Height minimum 6 feet. Salary minimum 100,000. Must have traveled to at least 10 countries. Must have a graduate degree. Must drive a car that costs at least 40,000. She was a receptionist making 30,000 a year. Now she's 35, panicking, lowering her standards daily, like a clearance sale. Yesterday's must-haves become today's, nice-to-haves become tomorrow's optional. But here's the thing. The men she wants, they're dating 25-year-olds who didn't spend a decade treating men like disposable items. Time is undefeated. You see, Father Time remains unbeaten. And let's talk about this independent woman narrative that's been sold to everyone. You want to know what's funny? The most independent women I know, truly independent, successful, self-sufficient, they don't broadcast it. They don't need to announce it every 5 minutes on social media. They don't have independent woman in their bio. But these women working entry-level jobs, living paycheck to paycheck, borrowing money for weekend parties, they're the ones screaming about not needing a man. It's like someone who can't afford a car saying they prefer walking. We all know it's cope. Deep down, they know it too. The biological clock is real, whether we admit it or not. I see it all the time in my consultations. Women at 22, I don't need anyone. I'm focusing on myself. Men are distractions. Women at 28, I'm ready for something serious. But only if he meets my 47-point checklist and passes the compatibility test I found on Cosmopolitan. Women at 33, where did all the good men go? Why is everyone taken? Women at 38, I'll date anyone with a pulse, who texts back and doesn't live with his mother. It's a predictable pattern, like watching the same movie over and over. The tragedy is they could have had a good man at 25, but they were too busy finding themselves, which usually meant getting drunk every weekend and calling it self-care. But men have caught on to this pattern. Why should a successful 35-year-old man date a 35-year-old woman with baggage, attitude, declining fertility, and a body count higher than a basketball score when he can date a 25-year-old who's actually happy to be with him? This is not misogyny. It's market dynamics. You can hate it all you want, write angry blog posts about it, call it unfair, but that won't change it. Reality doesn't care about your feelings. Social media has destroyed women's perception of reality completely. Every woman thinks she deserves a top 1% man because she matched with one on Tinder once. He was probably married, using her for entertainment while his wife was asleep, but she doesn't know that. She thinks that's her level. It's like winning $20 on a slot machine and thinking you're a professional gambler. The algorithm shows you what you want to see, not what's actually available to you. You want to know the saddest part? Most men aren't asking for much. You know what the average guy wants? Someone who's pleasant to be around, doesn't start drama every week, loyal, meaning she doesn't have one foot out the door constantly, takes care of herself reasonably well, meaning she doesn't gain 50 pounds after the wedding,